Hi. This segment that we'll be doing, actually I'll be doing 3 or 4, and I will focus here on practice for aging. Aging for the knees, for the ankles, and different postures that you can modify so that you can sit, you can kneel, and we'll go through Swastikasana, cross-legged, also Virasana, also Upavistha Konasana, and Baddha Konasana. We'll do those in a modified way so that if you have trouble going forward, if you have some arthritis in the hips, if you have some difficulties in the knees, we can hopefully have enough support for you to be able to do them. Okay? All right, so first, just gather some props around you, a couple bolsters, 2 chairs, a couple blankets, a couple blocks, and a strap. Okay, if you don't have all of that equipment, then you can take some cushions, pillows, blankets, and definitely have a chair. Okay, so get that ready and then we'll get started. First of all, I'm sitting on 2 bolsters. So if you need more height, this would be a good way to do it. Sit one bolster on top of the other bolster. And then you're going to use the chair as well. So I'm just going to bring the chair in front. Now this is pretty high for the knees. So I'm going to take a rolled blanket. I'll cross the legs and then bring the blanket there to support the shin bone to move down. Okay? So you can take the chair, turn the chair around, whoops, turn it around, and to sit up tall, you want to be able to hold on to something. So you could hold on to a wall, you could hold on to a grill. In Pune, we have the grills. So the idea is that as you're seated, hips are moving down, lower back is lengthening, and you can use the chair just to get that extension through the spine. Let your knees relax down. All right, from there, I think I'll just show you the different positions for Sukhasana. So those that need higher, you sit like this. I'm going to take this away. If you don't need all that height, then you can take one bolster away. You can also do the same thing. You want to support the legs. You can support right at the calves. And then you can turn the chair to face you and bring your arms onto the chair. So here you're doing the same as when you were holding the back. You're pressing down and you're lifting up through the chair, lifting up through the side trunk. Okay, so from here, we're going to do a couple of positions with the hands, different variations on the hands and the arms. So as you sit up tall, maintain that, and then take your hands out in front of you and bring the arms up. Okay, now I have a strap. You can take the strap and hold onto the strap. Pull the strap. So let's first take the arms wide. So bring the arms wide to get that extension, that broadness through the back, broadness through the front chest. And if that's okay, then you can take the hands in front and draw the arms up. Okay, I'm going to show several different variations. So if this is more difficult for you to do, then we will focus on just bringing the arms out to the side. So lift the arms up, lift the lower back, descend the hips, descend the legs. Okay. Now, in case it's difficult to bring your arms up, You can turn and face the wall with your bolster. Come closer to the wall. And then start to walk the hands up. Walk the fingertips up, reaching up. So the lower back is descending, or the buttocks is descending, lower back is lifting up, middle back lifting up. So use the fingertips at the wall and lift the chest. So the front body is lifting up, the back body moving down, shoulder blades moving down. Okay, and again, you could have that blanket between your calves and your feet to be in that position. Okay, now you can also, I'll just show here facing the wall, you can take your hands together, interlace the fingers, and press the hands up. Reach the arms up. And now I'm going to turn around the opposite way. So these are things for you to discover if it's difficult to do one position or another position. I'm showing different variations so that you can still do the postures, but have different ways to support. So you can bring the hands out in front of you, press the hands, and then lift up. So have the back at the wall and extend the arms up. Elbows lifting, shoulders moving down. Okay, and then change the cross on the fingers, press out, and then inhale, lift up. So this is good to get this openness to the armpit chest, shoulders moving down. And as you descend the buttocks down, keep the abdomen moving towards your lower back, buttocks moving down, lower back lifting up, middle back lifting, and the head is against the wall. So the whole back body is in one straight line. Okay, so now, while you're seated at the wall, you can also take the arms out. So here you're broadening through the front of the chest, collarbones wide, palms facing down, and drop your shoulders. So you can feel that your whole back body is lined up. You're using the wall to observe how the back feels, where the head is, dropping the shoulders. And then you can turn the hands. So the palms facing down to begin with, and then turn the hands and bring them forward. Draw your shoulders back, and then do that a couple times. Turn the arms down, and then turn the palms up so you can feel your shoulders turning. That may be all that you can do there. If you can bring your hands forward, bring your hands forward. If you can bring your arms up, come into Urdhva Hasta. Reach up. Okay, and then release. All right, now we're going to change position with the legs. So you will come into Virasana. So you first kneel down, stretch your feet back on either side of the bolster. Take your thumbs and stretch the calves down and out to the side. Now, we like to have the thighs parallel, but if you can't bring the thighs parallel, just keep yourself in that little bit wider stride and sit directly on the sitting bone. So take the hands and move the flesh of the buttocks back, spread the buttocks, and sit upright. Here, again, you can use the chair, and as you hold onto the chair, lift up. You can also bring the hands onto the chair, press down, and lift the chest. Now, I showed this also facing the wall. You could walk your fingers up the wall as well. If you're okay to bring your hands out in front of you, you can use this strap and draw the arms up. Hold the strap. If you have to take it wider, take it wider. Drop the shoulders. Keep the knees and thighs moving down. Okay, so now we're working with the knees here. So this may be uncomfortable for you. If this is uncomfortable, you can't bend your knees that much. Maybe you've had an operation or you've had some sort of injury. You can take the bolster behind and sit a bit higher. Okay, so now there's not much pressure on my knees at sitting lower. You can even sit higher. You could sit with the blanket, fold the blanket in half and then in half. And sit higher. So now you're getting the length through the thighs. You can also use the chair again to sit up tall. And as you use the hands on the chair, you're letting the feet press down, shins, and the thighs. The hips are moving down, and the side trunk is lifting. And from here, if the only issue is with the knees and you're okay with the arms, take your hands out, interlace the fingers, and press the arms up. So you have options here as well. You can be facing the wall, and you can walk your hands up the wall. Here, we're just doing Baddha Konasana, reaching the arms out and lifting up. If that's not possible, then just take the arms out to the side like we did before and get that broadness through the chest. Drop the shoulders, palms facing down, and then just go ahead and turn the whole shoulder and the arm, palm facing up. If that's too difficult, then stay with the hands to face the floor. If you can bring your arms up, bring your arms out in front of you, turn the arms, palms facing one another, and then lift up. Here you can have that strap, and then take your hands as wide as you need to straighten the elbows and lift up. So now I'm going to show you at the wall. So here we're using the chair. If you're at the wall, walking the hands up. So you're kneeling, you're bringing that bolster in. And if you need the blanket, you take the blanket and then start to walk the fingers up. Press the fingers, move the head, the back of the head in line with the upper back. You can always go into palms facing one another, or you can take your hands down, palms facing the floor. You can take your hands behind you, interlace the fingers, roll the shoulders back, and extend the arms. You'll keep the arms on the bolster. If you can raise the arms a bit, start to lengthen from the shoulder to the elbow to the palm. And then bring the hand down, change the cross on the fingers, rolling the shoulders back, collarbones wide, sitting tall so the hips are descending, straightening the arms, move the shoulder blades forward and down so you can feel the upper back supporting that opening of the chest. And then release. Okay, I'm going to show you one more way with the bolster. Maybe it is your knees, maybe it's your ankles. So we're going to take the bolsters now. Or maybe just the knees on the floor, that's too much. So we're going to move the bolsters like so. And you're going to kneel down on the bolster. And here I'm going to bring my, let's say you have an ankle injury. I'm going to let my feet hang off the end of the bolster. And if it's difficult to sit between the legs, you can have an extra little bit of height there and sit on that height. Okay, so I'm raising myself up. You can turn the block either down or up, and then sit on that block. to have more height. So it would be like if you were sitting on the bolster and the legs were higher, which I showed you before. If you're having a problem with the ankle. So this helps with the ankle. If you also have difficulty with the knee, bending the knee, then you need to revert to the other one when we're sitting higher, or not sit in this position at all. So sometimes we have an injury and it takes a while to come back. Sometimes you have some arthritis that is just worth you a lot and all the time. So you have to just be aware of what you feel, not doing too much, and taking support. So I'm showing you various ways you can support so that you can keep your knees healthy and keep yourself out of pain. Now we're going to go into Adho Mukha's forward fold in Virasana. So you'll be in Virasana, and then you can come forward on the chair, rest your arms on the chair, and rest the head. Now, if that's too low, you can always have your bolster and bring the bolster onto the chair. And hold on to the chair. Keep this lifted, this front body lifted. Keep this area from the rib cage to the diaphragm or the abdomen lifted. And then you can bring your hands onto the chair seat and bring your head onto the bolster. So from here, you're lengthening up and you're getting that extension. So if you had lower back issues, sciatica, this is a nice one to do. Buttocks moving down, lower back lifting, middle back lifting. So you just stay there. Okay, and then coming up now, you're going to bring the chair over to the side. We'll come into the next one. You're going to change your bolster sideways, and we're going to sit in Baddha Konasana. Let's just use the wall for Baddha Konasana. All right, so you're going to have your back at the wall, and you can have a couple bolsters as well. You can have a couple blocks as well. You're going to bring your feet in. Here, your thighs are resting on that bolster. Okay, if you needed some extra support, you could sit a little bit higher, like I showed you before. You could take a blanket. This would raise it just a bit. So I have a 3-fold blanket. Sit on that 3-fold blanket. Bring your hips all the way to the wall. So I have my lower back at the wall, and then bring the feet in. Then bring your hands on your thighs and lift the chest. So here, your back is at the wall, so you can feel the back of the head, the upper back, and the lower back. So just be aware of that. So sometimes you're moving forward or the back is rounding. So this means that this whole front body is shortening. So you're lifting up, lifting the chest off the diaphragm, off the abdomen, and move the shoulders back. You can use your hands here to get that support. Just have a few breaths there. And then again here, you can take your strap, bring your arms out, and then lift the arms up. I have my fingers, my knuckles at the wall. Yours might not reach, or you may need to just take your arms a bit wider. If you take them even wider, have the palms facing down toward the floor. Bring your arms back to the wall. Take a few breaths there. So all this is helping you to get this space through the abdominal area, through the organic part of the body, the heart lifting and opening. Okay, now, just in case that was difficult to sit that way, you can have 2 bolsters. Sit on the bolster. Again, come back to the wall. Bring your feet together, Baddha Konasana. And now here the knees are not bent as much as they were. All right, so feeling that. Just Have a few breaths there. So I'm not holding any of these very long. You can hold them longer. I'm just mainly showing you different variations, different modifications of some seated positions that you can do. Okay? So you can always do that against the wall. You could use the chair there as well. So if you're doing facing the wall, you could start to walk your hands up the wall. So if the back is rounding, here you're using the hands against the wall and lifting the front chest. If you can come all the way to the wall, bring your head to the wall. Armpit chest is facing the wall. Look up at your hands, make sure that they're even. If you need to take them a little wider, take them wider. And you can even bring your forearms onto the wall. So as you bring your forearms, lift your chest. Move your shoulders down. So you don't want your shoulders lifting up like this. You want to be aware of when they are and drop the shoulders. Bring the back of the head in line with the upper back. Okay. Now I'm going to stay on these bolsters and show you the next seated posture that we'll do. We can just do it right at the wall. We can do it both ways, at the wall, and we can do it away from the wall. But since we're at the wall, I'm going to straighten my legs and come into Upavistha Konasana. So we've had the knees bent. It's nice to be able to open and stretch the back of the knee, lengthen the calf toward the heel, thighs moving down, and then just bring your hands to the wall. So you, again, can get that extended spinal condition. So it's vertical to the floor. So use the hands, move the shoulders down, and I'm right on the sides of the feet. So here I'm on the bone, the big toe side, and the inner heel on both legs. Kneecaps are facing up, thighs are facing up, and using the hands, pressing gently into the wall to move me back. So I'm not leaning forward, the back of the head is in line with the upper back, in line with the tailbone. If you can bring your arms up, you can start to walk your arms up. If you need to take them wider to straighten the arms, then take them wider. If you can go all the way up, walk the fingers up, be on the fingertips, and start to bring yourself closer to the wall. Everyone's a little bit different, so you have to be aware of what's happening in your body, what do you feel, and work with that. Okay, bringing the hands down. Now, I'm just going to show you another way that you can sit on one bolster. Just another idea. And you can have the bolster in front of you. And bring the chest to that bolster. Slide, and then slide the chest up. So here you can feel when you're moving the chest up. Walk the hands up, or have the hands at the wall. So there, if the back is rounding, you can move that middle part of the back, the thoracic, into that bolster. So this is lifting. So if you have any kind of lower back issues, typically there's some shortness here on one side or the other. So the buttocks moving down, thighs moving down, and then from here the lower back is lifting. So you want to get maximum space in the back, maximum space on the side, and also maximum space in the front. So using this bolster here, you can tell if you can get that lift. So lifting up a little bit, be there, have a few breaths, and then lift a little bit more, descend the buttocks. So it just gives you a sensory contact. So you know, are you sinking or are you lifting and extending? Okay. So we take the bolster away now. And bring the bolster back to the wall. And I'm going to take the chair now. So all of these arm positions can be done in any one of the seated postures, depending on your shoulders, depending on if you're sitting on your knees or you're keeping your legs open. Okay, so here is Upavistha, one we were just doing at the wall. Now, if you wanted to go forward a little bit more, you could move your chair and start to come forward. Use your hands, hold on to the rail, keep the buttocks moving down, opening the backs of the knees, and then you can rest the head on the chair. So that's one way. You can have the bolster there as well, if you can't quite get that far down, or depending if you're sitting on two bolsters. You can even tilt the bolster like so and bring your head to the bolster. So be curious. Adjust wherever you feel that the prop is going to support you most. Now, I'm going to take the chair over to the side, and I'm going to use my hand on the chair, press down. I want to keep my hips in the middle, so thighs are moving down, lengthening up, and I'm turning. I'm turning from the abdomen, turning from the middle chest and the upper chest. I'm going to use the hand. I'm going to turn here to the left first. So hand on the chair, take the back hand back on the bolster. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, turn. So using the breath for this twisting action, extend up, inhale, exhale, turn. Take a few breaths there. Aware of what you can feel here. Okay, and then come to the other side. You can move your chair over. Keep the legs extended, knees lifted, toes spreading beyond the heels. And then take your hand over. First, just lift up. So again, lift the chest up, away from the abdomen. Take your hand back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn. So this hand is helpful because you can press down and lift up. So if I'm just turning, I'm turning. I don't have that help to lift up away from gravity. So gravity is a concern, especially when you're heavy, you haven't got a lot of muscular strength. So first creating stability, using the chair for that stability. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, turn. Okay? So you're going to, another way, you take your hands in Baddha Konasana, reach up. And then bring the hands down. So I'm coming back to Baddha Konasana. The feet are together, and I'm going to use the chair in the same way to do a twist. One hand behind, inhale, lift up, exhale, turn. Roll the shoulder back, roll the collarbones, spread to the right, and turn. And then come back, go to the other side. Press the hand down, again, to lift up. So this arm is moving down, and you're lifting up away from the ground. Back hand on the bolster. Press the feet together. Lengthen the inner leg to the outer knees. Outer knees draws back. Let the thigh be supported on that bolster. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn. Always use your breath to get into those spaces that feel that are tight, or that you're having some strong sensation in. And then release. Okay, we're going to take the chair away now. And we're going to lie down. You'll have one strap, and you'll have one bolster and a blanket. So I'll show you a variation. Supta Padangusthasana I and II. Okay. So we'll start Supta Padangusthasana I with one knee is bent, and then the other leg is straight. You can take the strap onto the foot. You can start with a bent knee, okay? If it's difficult to straighten the leg, then start with just a bent knee. Start with the other foot on the floor, which then this leg moves down into the pelvis. This leg, you're pressing into the foot and you're driving that femur bone back to the pelvis. So both sides, you can feel the lower back on the floor. Navel moving in. Okay. If you can straighten the leg, then you're going to straighten the leg. Spread the toes. Extend the heel up. Pull the strap. Move your shoulders down. Okay, and then bend your knee. Take that strap off. Bend your knee. Bring the foot on the floor. And then take this leg. Keep the knee bent. Just get used to that heel connection with the strap and that femur bone, feeling that moving down into the lower back. Shoulders moving back toward the floor. Press this bent knee, foot into the floor, stabilizing. So you feel very stable in this position. If you want to go further, you can straighten that leg. Keep the other knee bent. And then release. Okay. So you can also come to the wall. And you can start with that knee bent as well, and then just walk the leg up the wall. Have the leg at the wall. You can have the strap there. Hook the heel, pull the shoulders down, and tighten the kneecap. So draw this kneecap up. When we have injury in the knee, there tends to be less circulation through the back of the knee because we're always bending the knee. So press the heel into that strap, pull the strap, move your shoulders down, and as you press that heel into the wall, spread the toes, press the heel up into the strap, and tighten the kneecap. So as you tighten that kneecap, then you'll start to activate the quadricep, which is one of the largest muscles in the body. That circulation will help the knee, not only in front of the knee, but in the sides of the knee and in the back of the knee. Okay, if you can go a little bit further, you can come a little bit away from the wall. And you can start with that bent knee position like I showed you before. So you can start there. If you want to straighten the leg, you can go into this position. And if you want to come away from the wall, go into this position. Okay, let's do the other leg. Bent knee. So we'll start with the knee bent, heel at the wall. Move your shoulders back. Slide the heel up the wall. Tighten the kneecap. And then if you can, bring the leg away from the wall. So as you tighten that kneecap, feel the quadricep activate. Spread your toes. Press the heel into that strap. Keep your shoulders moving down without lifting the front ribs. So there's a tendency to lift the front ribs. Move the front ribs down so you can feel the back ribs on the floor. Collarbones wide, shoulders wide. Okay? All right, now we're going to go laterally. So I'm going to turn to the side, and I'm going to have the bolster on this side. You can also have a blanket, or you can have two bolsters, depending on your hips. Okay, you're going to start with this knee bent, and then you can take the strap, again, on that leg, and externally rotate it. Bring the knee right onto the bolster. So you can bring the bolster in further, so it's right at the top of the thigh, or you can bring it a little bit away. depending on your mobility. Okay, from here, holding the strap, knee bent. If you're okay in this position, then you can start to straighten the leg, press the heel, and if you're close enough to the wall, I'll get a little bit closer, you can on the wall, okay? And then finally, if you're okay with that, you can extend that leg down. You're holding onto the leg. This leg is externally rotating, and the heel is resting there. You can bring the arm along the floor. So just look down at yourself. You want to stay in the center so the shoulders aren't moving closer to the wall than the hips. Hips and the shoulders are in line. So just watch that you don't get out of alignment, which gives the best effect for the leg to move into the pelvis and also to get that same length we've been getting when we were doing the seated position. Okay, and then you can bend that knee again. If this was too much, bringing the leg down, you can bend the knee, plant the foot down, keep this side of the pelvis down, use this arm and the shoulder to keep this side down. So you are bringing the leg over to the side. If you didn't have the bolster there, you'd have to work a little bit harder to keep this side of the body down on the floor. Otherwise, you would just be rolling. So here, because your leg, once you bend the knee, the thigh is resting on the bolster, it brings more balance across the pelvis, across the lower back, and you can just stay in this position. You can also straighten the leg. All right. You can straighten the leg with the knee bent. Learn to move the side of the body down. Keep the body down no matter what's happening with this other right leg. See if you can maintain that balance. So the leg, even though the leg is moving away, I'm still moving it back toward the pelvis, toward the hip socket, which then keeps me in the center. So you're creating stability. Okay, bend the knee, come out. We're going to turn and do the other side. So we're starting with the knees bent. Being close enough to the wall that you can lean the leg to the wall. So starting here with the leg, the knee is bent, foot is on the floor, holding. And then if you can straighten the legs, spread the toes, tighten the kneecap, open the back of that knee. Move your shoulders down. Keep this foot pressing down to maintain that movement of the leg into the pelvis. Okay, now we're going to bend the knee, bring the leg onto that bolster, hold the strap. So the knee is bent. Even though the leg is moving this way, I'm still moving my weight onto this side with the help of this leg and then also this arm and shoulder. So the shoulder, collarbone's wide, shoulders moving down, press the hand down, and just let that knee, that hip, that external rotation come on the top of the hip socket and rest the knee on the bolster. If you're comfortable with that, feel like you can start to work on lengthening this side as well as keeping this whole side of the body down. You can straighten your leg. Just notice what happens when you start to straighten the leg. If you lose that connection on this side, bend the knee again, stabilize, and then you can straighten this leg. So holding the strap in such a way that you're able to lengthen this whole side, the shoulders lengthening, collarbones widening, and if you come close enough to that wall, your hip is going to be supported. It's more a restorative position, but your heel is then resting at the wall. Observe what you feel. Breathe into those sensations. If you can lengthen a little bit more. So this inner leg is lengthening to the inner knee, to the inner heel. From the outer heel, you're moving back to the outer knee to the outer hip. So there's a circular action of the leg. It's not just moving away from you. It's lengthening and it's connecting back. The pelvis is receiving it in the hip socket. If you're good with that, then you can straighten the leg. Arm is out to the side. This pelvis stays open, so this side of the pelvis is moving down, thigh bone is moving down. All right, and then bend the knee. You can bring the leg away from the wall. So see what that feels like. So you're lifting the outer thigh away from the bolster, which takes a little bit more strength. So you can go back and forth between doing that and then lifting the leg up. So it's on the outer side of the thigh that you have to really activate to lift that leg up away from the bolster. Okay, come up, take the leg away, and then roll onto your side. I'm going to show you Shavasana now. Prone Shavasana. So you're going to take a blanket for your head, and you're going to lie down, face down, prone position. You can bring your arms in front of you and then bring the forehead onto the arms. Now, before I do that, I want to make space in my lower back. So I'm going to lift up and turn the legs in. Okay, so this inner leg is rolling out, outer leg is moving down. Take your legs wide and have the toes moving inward. And then just rest on the forehead. So you can go ahead and be in this position, be on the front of the groin, lengthen the front of the thigh, widen the thigh, turning the thigh, lift up, lengthen the front body, and then have your blanket so that you can fold your arms, have some space for your nose, and then just rest your forehead there. So we'll end in this position. So just getting comfortable, feeling that you're making whatever adjustment you need to, have the head supported, and then I'll set the timer for you so you'll know when to come up. Okay, we worked mostly in seated positions, various ways to work with the knees, the ankles, the hips, sitting on different heights, using different kinds of adjustments. So try those things out, see how it feels for you. If you have a question, let me know. Now just let yourself rest in Shavasana until the timer. Namaste.